to do a short video for this adorable key fob. And this is different from the quilter's cotton because there I'm going out and I'm like, I think I want a gift. And I thought these were absolutely adorable. So I have all the tools that I need and they are here. So other than thread and a sewing machine, we clearly need some sort of fabric, and you want something that will work with this diameter, not diameter, with this width of fabric. So when you're thinking about that, then that's what you want to use to work with your project. So I went with this, which is, they are paper clips and they are absolutely adorable. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with these. I was going to make a regular key fob, which looks like this. And I said, let me switch it up for a scrunchie. And this is the scrunchie. And it absolutely came out adorable. So you also need, you don't need it for this one. You need stabilizer when you're using the other one. So we don't need stabilizer. You could use it, but it won't give you the same effect. So we need this. We need elastic. This is, I believe it's a little shorter than an inch. You can use an inch. This is about 3/4. This is what I had in my stash. This is what I'm using. You need the key fob hardware, and you either need pliers or you can buy the hardware itself to go with the project. Needle, thread, machine, bobbins, clips are also things that you need. These are the clips. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut out the fabric that I need for this project. I think the other side is a little more even. Okay. Our fabric comes on the bolt on a fold. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's even, but it's what we can use to line everything up. I line this up with the edge, the selvage, to give me a nice straight line and smooth everything out. If you need to, you can take it to your iron. And let me wear my scrunchie. That way everybody will see it. Yay. Okay. And I just want to knock out some of those wrinkles and some of those little folds. I am going to use my stripology ruler so that I can get accurate cuts that I want. I'm going to line this up with this bottom line here and make sure that it lines up on the fold of the fabric. I'm giving myself some extra edge out here so that I can just trim everything off. Stripology ruler comes with markings, so I can determine how wide I want them to be and have every strip even for that edge. Okay, so that's the first cut, just to get everything straight. Then from there, you make a decision as to how wide you want this to be. So from one dot to dot, that's 2.5. I've been going with like 2.25, but I think I probably can do 2.5. So we're gonna go with a 2.5 inch strip because it'll be easier. And in this case, I'm gonna cut out 3. No, I'll cut out 4. We'll put the rest of our fabric away for another project. Scrunchie ruler up. And that's the excess. And here are our 4 cuts that we made. I love the Scrunchie ruler. It is a game changer. Now, each one of these strips should be about 21 inches long. Most of our fabric widths are about 42 inches in width, most. So you can figure out that you could get it to about 21. I'm going to take the 21 just because I can eyeball that end, and I can use scissors for the middle. Let me cut these 2 off. So this will be 2.5 by 21 inches. If you are using scrap from other projects, it may be a little wider, a little longer, I should say. And I would say this, the longer it is, the more scrunch you're gonna have. Okay. So on this end, I am going to cut these in half. So they are going to be 21 inches. I could use my rotary cutter. It's just easier to use my scissors. Okay. The next thing we're gonna do is take our machine. We're gonna fold these in half. And we are going to sew no more than 1/4 inch. That takes off about 1/2 on each side. That takes off 1/4 on each side, which is a total of 1/2 inch off this total. And it would be nice if my needle was in the right place. I had it over for something else. Just make sure everything is lined up. If for some reason you can't keep everything straight, you can absolutely use clips. So as long as I go slow enough and I just keep making sure that everything is straight, that should be good. You can backstitch if you like. Okay. So you've created a tube with your stitch down here. And what you need to do next is to get a, whoops, I knew that was gonna fall, safety pin. And you're going to attach it to one end. Let me get rid of these threads, they're gonna drive me crazy. And all I'm gonna do is do the same, but I will do all the rest of them offline. I pre-cut them in advance just because it's easier. But I'm going to do the same thing for all of them. I'm going to get my safety pin in here the right way, right on the end. And then what I'm going to do is feed it through the tube. These are absolutely adorable. They are perfect if you are trying to have a vendor event, if you are looking for a gift for your child's teachers, for your friends that lose their keys. This is great because it can sit right around your wrist and it sits nice and snug. So I'm just pushing the safety pin through. There are other tools that you could buy that would allow you to get this through a little bit differently. The thing that I don't like sometimes about safety pins is that depending on the safety pin that you use, sometimes they'll pop open on you in the middle of a project. And it's not a good feeling, because if it's halfway through, then you have to figure out how to close it and then feed it back through the project sometimes, and it could just be a pain. So there are other products that you could use that are on the market that you wouldn't have that problem with. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to use that. Okay. So we'll get both ends out. If you feel some kind of way, you could press this, but you don't have to. You're going to take your elastic, and you want the elastic to fit around your hand, and you want the elastic to be able to come off. So it should fit your wrist, and it should be able to come off your hand. So we are going to use 8 inches. And we're going to secure our safety pin to our elastic. And then we're going to feed this through. Now, if you're like me, sometimes you will lose your elastic because your elastic is shorter than your fabric at this point. So just take your time, be careful as you're going through so that you don't lose the elastic in there, because then you have to thread it all the way through and do it again. With the safety pin end, you'll be able to grab it and get it to go. With the other end, you won't be able to do that. So you should see I'm stopping. Let me get everything unfolded that's in there. Just want it to lay flat. Okay, nice and straight. I'm making sure that my seam is on this side, and then what I'm going to do is take this to the machine and just real easy. If the thread didn't come out of the needle, lucky me. That thread wasn't long enough. Oops. And can I do this without moving the machine up? No, because I can't see it. Now there is an automatic needle threader on here, but I have a tendency not to use it. Okay. So let's try that again. We're gonna go right through this. Whoops. My threads underneath are acting up. I can see them right to the end of the bobbin, and there's another piece of thread. Like right here. If you can see that, that's causing the problem. And I just want to snip it off. It's catching. And it may or may not make a difference when I get it in there, but we'll see. What I learned is that my machine has a tendency to act up whenever there's company. Okay. We'll cut off that larger tail in a second. Oh, I see. Okay. My thread up here is where my problem is. It's not down bottom. Like I said, my machine will always act up, but that's my fault because I should have been paying attention to what was going on, but I didn't expect that to be wrong with the machine. Okay. Problem solved. There we go. If it's not your bobbin, it's probably your tension. It could be the threading. It could be your thread. So you just take your time. You don't get upset, and you just keep drawing. Okay. So now we're just going to run this all the way through the other side. As we're running this through the other side, it was straight before, right? As we're now pushing this down, we're going to see the scrunch happen. And the great thing about this is that after we do this, we secure that other end, we're done. So with the exception of a little snafu, this, like I said, is a quick and easy project. There we go. Make sure that your elastic isn't twisted. You can adjust the scrunchiness of it all once you secure everything, but you don't want to lose your elastic in there, number one. And number two, you want to make sure that it's not twisted. Is it the end of the world? No. And I would use it, but I wouldn't gift it. Okay. Nope, I didn't catch that. Let me take out. My threads are small enough that I should be able. So now I have to hold this to get in here. I thought I caught it, but I didn't. I could, ouch, I could either use a pin or a safety pin. This is why I don't like anything pointy, because I keep sticking myself. And let's come in with my seam ripper. And then get that out. Okay. And let's open this up. We're going to use a clip just to get back in there and get that piece because it's not far down. And let's pull that back through. And see, that's what I get for, oops, trying to get it through and then sitting it right on the end. I should have had a little excess. But like I said, I never mind when I mess up, because me messing up says and suggests that it's okay for everybody else to mess up. And sometimes folks are intimidated by people who sew or who they think sew well, because they think they can't do something, and you absolutely can. Like I said, to get in here right now, I may have to get up to get my tweezers, because it just keeps wanting to go down further and further and further. And that's because it's elastic. And elastic wants to go, you know, it just wants to retreat back. And I just want to get in there. I want to get the clip to get a good hold of it, and then I should be able to pull it right through. Because I should be able to slide everything right around it. And this, you know, I mean, like I said, when mistakes happen, that's what holds your process up, but this really doesn't take long at all to do. And the clip isn't necessarily the best thing to get it, because it's not holding the elastic. But I'm going to tell you what I'm getting ready to do. I will cut this off a couple inches, an inch, and it will do what it do from there. But I should be able to get it. Okay, there we go. It just took a little bit of doing. Like I said, you know, I could just go in and pull the whole thing out, do it again. But I got it. Okay, let's try that again. So this time I'm going to leave a little bit more out just to make sure I capture it. Okay. Great job, great job, great job. Now we got it. Okay. So we have it. It's in there. It's nice and scrunchy. And then we can take the two ends, put them together. My suggestion is with any regular key fob, same way with this one, is to line it up. And then I want to do one final stitch. Sometimes the key fobs like to come apart. You think you have it, and I'll show you the hardware in a second. And so sometimes it's easier just to combine these together and to avoid that problem. Okay, so that's sewn across. I can cut off a little bit of the excess just to get that off. And here we go, right? So the scrunchie, for the most part, is done. We just have to attach the hardware. So here's the hardware. So let me just show you. This has two teeth here. Then on this side, there's nothing. So the teeth are grabbing on this side, and then it's smooth on this side. So sometimes what happens when it closes, the teeth will go down rather than kind of in it to grab everything. And what happens is that the end that's on this side, if they're both, these are both not secured, if both of these ends are not secure, what'll happen is the one that's on the smooth side might pull out over time, especially if you do a lot of pulling on your scrunchie, on your key ring. So by stitching them both together, you avoid that. So now it'll go inside the hardware like that. You can use tweezers or you can use this tool. I sit it in the tool like this. I sit this down into the key fob hardware. Let me try to do that and show you that without it sliding out. So it sits down in here like that. Okay. Line everything up. Make sure that it's all lined. You can give it a slight press. So it's not completely pressed yet. If I can get it back open at this point, and everything looks straight and good to me, everything is nice and neat and in there, now I can press it closed. Clamp, press, boom. Okay, and there you go. I can cut these ends off. I just use a lighter. I'll burn them off. So I just burn them off just so that the threads go deep down. But just like that, your key fob is done. So this is really great because, again, these can be used, put around your wrist. They're not going to slip off your hand. Whereas key fobs like this, when you put them around, they're loose and they could come off. So these are great to use, but I absolutely love these a lot better. And again, you can adjust the elastic for somebody who has a thicker wrist so that it fits nice and neatly on a thick wrist as well as a thin wrist. So I did this at about 8 inches. You could go up to about 10 for somebody who has a thicker wrist, or 9. You know, there aren't too many people that have really, really wide wrists, but like this is kind of snug. And so if I just wanted a little bit looser, I could go a little bit looser. So if we're going on a trip this summer, this is a great gift to get for our friends and colleagues. Like I said, I will go in and I just take a little lighter and burn those extra ones off. You could actually get your clips and clip them as well to get them off if you don't want to use a lighter. But here it is, a quick scrunchy wristlet that you can make with your leftover scraps and or fabrics for your next event coming up. Hope you enjoyed this little tutorial and you'll stay tuned for more lives. Make sure that you are liking, commenting, following, and sharing this live. Have a great one.